Welcome to the Slumbering Isles. As far as opening hand goes, yes, I love it. We're going to keep on this one. We've got Lumbering Falls. We have 4 lands. It's going to be a really nice urban evolution. And we do have Arcane Denial, which is one of the, not running a ton of counter spells in here. In fact, I think it's just Arcane Denial and Disallow. So it's always nice to at least have an opening counter spell in your opening hand. Let's go and lead off with Lumbering Falls, and then anything else. We're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. We're playing the Slumbering Isles. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the first name. Actually, I will here in a little bit. Whatever enters the battlefield tapped with 5 slumber counters on it. Then, as long as it has no slumber counters on it, it is a land. It's going to be able to tap for 2 mana, and then whenever we cast a spell, we may remove a slumber counter from it if we want to. But I kind of enjoy having a Skyshot Claim out of the command zone. That's really nice. Let's get down Forest, and then anything else, kick it back over to our opponent. We're playing against Grenzo, the Dungeon Warden. Grenzo enters the battlefield with X+1 counters on it. Then for a 2-mana activation, put the bottom corner of your library into your graveyard. If it's a creature card with power less than or equal to Grenzo's power, put it onto the battlefield. And I love Grenzo. Grenzo was definitely one of the first 5 to 10 commanders that I built for my channel. I'm pretty certain, because I remember I've got some old thumbnail art for Grenzo, but I really enjoy it. It's a really cool commander. In fact, if you want to check out some of my Grenzo videos, if you're a new subscriber, if you go to YouTube, type in Grenzo Jolt, you'll be able to find some of my Grenzo videos, or if you head over to my playlist, you'll be able to see my Grenzo playlist. But it is a very unique commander, and I don't know, just really cool. The fact that you can kind of manipulate your library in a manner that you're trying to just get creatures into the graveyard, bring them back out, and the fact that he's just kind of like the dungeon master of the dungeon. I don't know. I really enjoy that. All right, so we've got the 2 goblins swinging in. They're going to knock us down to 28, and then next turn that puts us on Frantic Search. I think I like that. Might as well just go ahead and go for it. We're going to draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards. Yeah, let's go and go for that. Get down 4, let's go for Frantic Search. That's going to be 1-2. We'll be able to draw 2 cards, and we'll have to discard and then untap these lands. It'll still keep us on for Arcane Denial to kind of stop something. Now, as far as my particular build of Grenzo, I do have a pretty fun build, and then that's going to be getting down Grenzo as quickly as possible. I think maybe one creature has a power toughness that's higher than Grenzo, but for the most part, everything is going to be able to function at 2 total mana, or at least 2 power, going for those activations, which always makes for some really fun games. Okay, so we draw 2 Reliquary Tower and Tranquil Thicket. Let's get rid of Tranquil Thicket. And at this point, we don't really necessarily need Rogue's Passage. I am very interested in Reliquary Tower, so we'll go and get rid of, because it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and that'll still put us on for pretty nice pull from tomorrow, Urban Evolution. Yeah, let's do that. We'll go and get rid of Rogue's Passage, untap our 3 lands, because that'll be 5 for Urban Evolution. And then anything else, we'll worry about going for the Slumbering Isle for next turn. So we did cover both commanders. It is free time, and we can talk about this deck. Now, if you haven't seen this deck before, I did play it once during the Commander 18 Lounge, so if you want to check it out after the video, had a lot of fun playing that one, but this is pretty much your standard just Simic ramp deck, so you can definitely sound the Simic alarms on this one. We've got some really fun creatures in here. The game plan is to basically just ramp into a really good creature, build up some really nice tokens on the board. Do we want to go for 3 and for Arcane Denial on that? It's a pretty good chunk of mana. Yeah, let's go and go for Arcane Denial, because depending on the particular Grenzo build, yeah, I'm fine with that, because depending on the build, you can get down some pretty high-costed creatures pretty quick, and don't want our opponent starting to hard cast some of those. I'd like to make it to where hopefully we can ramp a little bit quicker than our opponent. All right, so we're going to get the card draw from Arcane Denial. That's going to be Brainstorm, and we draw into Sad Robot. Let's get down Island, and yeah, let's go for the Slumbering Isle. That's going to put us on next turn for, Sad Robot. We can go for Brainstorm or even Deranged Hermit if we want to. So we'll get that down. It's going to enter the battlefield tapped, and then that's going to be an extra, basically an Ancient Tomb off to the side without the damage. Anything else? Nope. I kick it back over there. Now, we do have some fun stuff in here that is not legal in regular paper commander that you play at your local gaming store. We do have Primeval Titan, and we also do have Prophet of Krufix. Those cards are unbanned in 1 versus 1 commander, and that is what I'm playing. So if we run across one of those 2 cards, that is why. Because for the most part, these are all... Okay, that was just a mountain. I always get really worried when they go through those Grenzo activations. Blind Fire Grenzo activations are so much fun. But I don't even know where I was going. Oh yeah, but long story short, if you see those cards, that is why. All right, so we draw into forest. So we go for urban evolution. We can play an additional land this turn. This can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that still puts us on going for brainstorm. Yeah, I think I like that. Let's go for urban evolution. And at this point, we'll go ahead and remove some of these slumber counters, but we're just going to park it at 1 once we start casting enough spells, because, 12-12 is nice, but it doesn't have trample. And so I just really like having access to that extra mana. So at this point right now, we're just going to slowly dwindle away at those counters. And then once it gets to 1, we're basically just going to leave it on there. Yes, we're going to use that ability, remove one of those counters, and then go for Urban Evolution. Oh, look at that. That is beautiful. Let's get the land drop down. Let's get down Reliquary Tower first. Let's go for Forest, and then we're going to be able to get down Azusa, make an additional land drop. Oh, that is beautiful. That'll also still leave us up for Brainstorm, which is really nice. Let's go ahead and remove that counter from Slumbering Isle. Yes, definitely going to do that. And let's get down Island and then anything else. There we go. We're going to pass the turn. It's a very fruitful turn 5. We've got a ton of lands on the battlefield. We've got Oracle, which is going to work out really well with the Azusa, and then also Sad Robot to get a few more lands going. But this is pretty much what you want to do. I think we're running about 40 lands in here because we want to be able to get down stuff like Oracle, Azusa, and we had Pull from Tomorrow in our opening hand, and you can see how good this Pull from Tomorrow is going to be. It's not going to necessarily win us the game, but being able to tap out for a Pull from Tomorrow that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even just drawing 6 cards is usually enough to kind of help you at least stabilize or at least build up some sort of board state. Now, we don't, let me double check, I don't think we have, no, there's no Crater Hoof in here, and so this is just really kind of more of a Simic ramp deck, like I mentioned, just want to get down stuff like Drained Hermit, and just gotta go to town. All right, so our opponent's gonna go for some Grenzo Blind Fires. Let's see what is in. All right, I'm gonna get down Weirding Shaman. Okay, so it looks like we're gonna be looking at a Goblin Tribal deck. Now, one of the fun things with Grenzo is, if you haven't built Grenzo before, is there's a card called Mana Echoes, and then whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you add colorless mana to your mana pool equal to the amount of, I can't remember the exact wording. Long story short, you can basically just almost go infinite with Grenzo once you start getting a ton of goblins on the battlefield. And it ends up being I remember the first time I built Grenzo and I got that online, my opponent was very nice to me. And I was also new to Magic, but I just kind of kept cycling through there, and he's like, all right, have some fun. I was like, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's go for Brainstorm. We're going to be able to draw 3 cards. And we'll go ahead and remove that counter from our Slumbering Isle. Wayward Swordtooth Mind Still. Ooh. Okay. Now we go for Boundless Realms. We can survive another hit from our opponent, and that's going to be a really nice pull from tomorrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, let's put Wayward Swordtooth back. And if we end up going for Mind Still, actually we end up going for Boundless Realms, we're going to shuffle one more card back into our hand. I guess at this point, if we're going for some sort of Boundless Realms, we're actually going to put Sad Robot back. That way we're still drawn to Wayward Swordtooth because we should have the City's Blessing on pretty quick. And we'll go for Boundless Realms. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We could go for Oracle. I like going for Boundless Realms. Let's do that. Let's kind of show off what this, basically what this deck is capable of. We're going to move that one more counter from our Slumbering Isle. Yes, we're going to use that ability. And sorry, our opponent's kind of taking these weird 30-second pauses. And so if my commentary is kind of jumpy as soon as we get to something, that's basically why. We're going to grab basically all the, we can grab 8. And there's actually, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And for some reason on Magic Online, when you click on a bunch of lands like this, it goes really slow. So we're going to get this popped out, make sure we grab all of the lands that we can. We'll grab one more. Yeah, we're going to grab one more island. Why not? All right, have those lands into the battlefield and then kick it back over to our opponent. So next turn we are looking at least, that's going to be 4 with Grenzo swinging across. That's going to be 6. And then that is going to be 8 and 9. So, we still have a pretty good chance to stabilize. So we're going to go for, I think we want to go for Mind Stellation if we want to. This is one of those cards that we could have put a Crater Hoof in here, but I always, when our opponent gets this down against us, it always tends to kind of pay off sometimes and makes us some really fun board states. So we're going to try to get down Mind Stellation and then maybe get down something like Sad Robot or Oracle to really kind of start churning through the lands in our library. And then Worst case scenario, if something bad does happen, we'll end up going for pull from tomorrow and draw a ton of cards, which is always fun. We do have Bane of Progress in here, which I have yet to get that down and go for. I don't know, that's always so much. And they're actually running very light on artifacts in here. We have Sad Robot, we have Lightning Greaves. What just happened? Siege Gang Commander activation. Okay, we do have Lightning Greaves, Swiftfoot Boots, and Crucible of Worlds. So we're running really light on artifacts. In fact, most of our ramp is going to be from. There we go. John talked him up. Bane of Progress. Unfortunately, our opponent doesn't have any artifacts at this point, but. It is what it is. So at this point right now, I think we go for Sad Robot and Deranged Hermit. Because we've got a pretty good swing back from our opponent, especially if they start going for some of these Siege Gang Commander activations. That's going to be at least 1, 2, 3. We're looking at in the neighborhood of 4 activations. Yeah, let's go and go for Deranged Hermit. Yeah, I like that. Let's go for Deranged Hermit. And if we want to, we've got enough lands where we can actually take this last counter off. Yeah, let's go and do that. I think that would be pretty good. Let's go ahead. Do we want to add that mana, though, to our mana pool? Because that will definitely tap it. Let's just get down Deranged Hermit first. Yeah, I think we're okay. We kind of want a 12-12 on the battlefield. That'll definitely kind of stop our opponents from doing stuff. So we're going to wake up the island, get down 12-12, get some nice squirrels on the battlefield, too. Let's go for Oracle. There, yes, sure, fine, we'll use it. There's no counters on there, but if you want to, let's go and get down Thespian Stage, Command Tower. Oh, look at that. Ooh, and the Cyclonic Rift on top. That is beautiful. Let's go for Sad Robot. 2, 3, 4. That's going to allow us to draw into no, we do not want to use that ability because we definitely want Cyclonic Rift. And then that's going to put us at 4 mana left over. Anything else? No. We're going to go and pass the turn. So Cyclonic Rift is exactly what we wanted to see in this particular scenario. If we end up playing the upkeep cost on Deranged Hermit, that still gives us just enough mana to go for Cyclonic Rift. And then next turn, that's going to put us at 12, 13, 15, 17, plus 8. That's going to be like 25 points of damage. So that'd be a pretty good chunk, especially once we end up going for the, Mountain Walk. They get down Goblin King, so they're going to be able to swing in with... So they hit Goblin King. Oh, no, they hit Goblin King. No, excuse me, we don't have any mountains. Okay. I got worried for a second that they're going to be able to come across at us with the +1/+1 with Mountain Walk, but we are not playing any mountains in here, so... Crisis averted. We can kind of relax for a little bit. So we will be definitely on the Cyclonic Rift game plan. And once we end up going for Cyclonic Rift, that'll allow us to get in a huge chunk of damage against our opponent. And that's going to force them to kind of rebuild with Siege Gang Commander. And especially if they've gone for a lot of these activations with Siege Gang. You know, they could have tapped out and dealt a lot of damage, but since we were able to stabilize with Deranged Hermit, we got some good squirrels on the battlefield. I don't know. I love Deranged Hermit. This is one of my favorite Magic cards. And shout out to Eli, because with Deranged Hermit, that is one of those cards that he suggested for my Damia deck. And so I always like to put it in some of my decks. All right, let's go for some blocks. So we are sitting at 12. If possible, we want to leave as much squirrels on the battlefield as possible. So let's go for blocking on Grenzo. Let's go for Sad Robot block. We want to try to trade with as many creatures too. Yeah, let's go ahead and block on the Weirding Shaman. And at this point, we can just go and get rid of Oracle too. So we'll trade with the Goblin Instigator. I'm trying to think, we can't go for pull from tomorrow. And that's going to be 2, 4, 6. And that's going to be 9. And that'll be, that's going to leave us open on a Siege Gang activation. So let's go for Squirrel, Squirrel, Squirrel. And that'll leave us Squirrel in the Deranged Hermit. Okay, now if things get nutty, we can still get on Bane of Progress. It's not going to be that good, but hopefully we can kind of bounce back from that. We'll still end up having a 12-12 on the battlefield. We'll hopefully be making some pretty nice trades. Now, I just not thought about this. So they go for a Siege Gang Commander activation, then get rid of that tribal effect by hitting Deranged Hermit. So that's going to leave a lot of those goblins on the battlefield, which is a little bit of a misplay on my part, so I completely forgot about that extra activation being able to go towards a Deranged Hermit. So hopefully, fingers crossed, our opponent doesn't see that. Let's see how they decide to go for this activation. All right, so our opponent ends up going for a Siege Gang Commander activation on the Deranged Hermit, so they did see that line of play. Like I mentioned, that was a little bit of a misplay on my part, but hopefully we can still bounce back with a Cyclonic Rift. We're going to get that extra card draw. Yes, we're going to use that ability and be able to draw into Cyclonic Rift, and then that'll allow us to bounce everything back next turn. We can at least swing in for... actually, we'll probably wait until they swing in, especially since Grenzo got sent back to the command zone. Do we want to pull from tomorrow for like 2 cards? No, I don't think so, because we can sequence it to where we go Cyclonic Rift into Pull from Tomorrow, and then hopefully that'll allow us to kind of stabilize. So let's go for Harbor. Let's push in with our commander. Now, that's one of the fun things. If you get these counters off of your commander, you know, you're looking at a 2 swing with your commander with 12 total damage to close the game out for commander damage. Let's go and push in for a 12-12. And we'll see if that Goblin King ends up blocking or not. I always like to imagine this huge island just rolling down the battle. There we go. All right, we're going to see the Goblin King's going to block, and that's going to leave the rest of those goblins on the battlefield. Yeah, and like I mentioned, we could go for Mind's Dilation and then go for a big pull from tomorrow, but I really like the idea of bouncing everything back to our opponent's hand and then going for a really nice pull from tomorrow. That way we can kind of rebound, but hopefully with a ton of creatures. So let's just go and pass the turn to our opponent, and then we'll wait for them to swing in. If we wanted to, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 6. And actually, before they get down an additional, any sort of extra goblins, we'll still end up going for Cyclonic Rift before they can. Yeah, because that's a Rat Rogue. We don't want to die to a bunch of Siege Gang activations, because that would not be good. So we're going to go ahead and force the Siege Gang Commander activations. And it's going to send everything back to the hand. Let's see what else they're going to cast now. It's going to be an additional Siege Gang Commander. Let's go for Pull from Tomorrow. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. So we can draw 3 more cards. We might get lucky and drawn to Disallow and be able to counter Siege Gang Commander. Is that what we want to leave up and keep our fingers crossed that we draw into? Yeah, I think so, because if we untap with the open Siege Gang Commander, that is not going to be good for us. So let's go and do this. Let's go and draw 6 cards. All right, opponent's going to scoop it up. We're going to go for Siege Gang. We're going to go for Pull for Tomorrow for 6 cards. So the game technically wasn't over yet, but I guess they assumed that we had some sort of counter spell. But we're going to go for Pull from Tomorrow. In fact, let's see. It's going to be 1, 2. And then it's going to be Factor Fiction and Worldly Tutor. So we weren't technically going to win the game, but we could have gone for Worldly Tutor, kind of bounce back. And to be perfectly honest, I think our opponent probably would have got it. Once they get down Siege Gang Commander and untap with an active Siege Gang Commander, they would have been able to gone for a few more activations. We would have had to find some sort of way to deal with these activations, and I don't think we would have been able to get that done. Yeah, because they simply just block. Either way, I'm still going to go and post this video. I do apologize if the ending is a little bit clunky, but I think our opponent's going to get it on this one, so I'm going to toss it over to our opponent. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.